We've been thinking about how to separate mixtures in science recently, and one of the processes that we can use is evaporation. When we have a solid substance which is dissolved into a liquid, like salt can be dissolved in water, we can separate them again by evaporating the water, and we are left with the salt. In this case, the solvent is the liquid, is the water, and the solute is the salt, which is dissolved into the water. Now, as an application of this, I spoke about salt farming in Hong Kong, and recently on a family day trip I went to Sai Kung, where I saw a boat trip. One of the attractions for this boat trip was some salt pans on an island called Yim Tin Tsai. Well, when I went there, I found a man called David, and he agreed to actually tell me about the history of salt farming in Yim Tin Tsai. Okay, this is David, and hello. He works here at...
I'm a salt worker.
You're a salt worker, and what's this place called?
This is Yim Tin Tsai.
Yim Tin Tsai. And this is where they produce salt. They call these the saltpans. And how old is this place?
300 years.
So what makes this place so special?
So 300 years ago, when the founder come over to this village, and they find this place is very suitable for salt production, because in the old days there's no electricity, no water pump. How can you intake seawater here? It's rely on certain physical and natural phenomena. So first of all, the founder found this place is in between high tide and low tide. So that means during high tide, water can come in here, and they can store the seawater for salt production. And during low tide, so the rainwater, fresh water, or any unnecessary water can go out to the sea. So this area will not be flooded.
That's great. And then, can you explain how you harvest the salt? So how does the whole thing work?
From seawater till the salt crystallize. So it will take about 12 to 40 days. And within this 12 to 40 days, we have to rely on certain weather conditions. First of all, no rain. And secondly, we need sunny days, we need temperature. And dry weather, low humidity, and also gentle wind. So with all these weather conditions, then it will take about 12 to 40 days. We can have our salt harvest. And say before the highly condensed seawater, we call that brine. Before the brine, which is so-called saturation point, we will transfer this brine into the crystallization point. Wait until the sunshine comes in about few hours, then it will start crystallization, and we will let it go for maybe 2 to 3 hours until most of the salt molecule become salt crystals. Then we can do harvest.
That's great. So it's actually really dependent on the weather. It must have been very difficult for salt workers a long time ago, especially.
Yeah. 100% say rely on weather conditions.
Yeah.
So okay, you can use some other energy, like you can boil the seawater, but well, that make your cost become a rockety height. Also today, say there's some modern technology that can help, like reverse osmosis, electrolysis, and boiling. But again, first of all, it will waste of energy, and secondly, there will a lot of trace element will be lost during all this modern process.
So why are those trace elements important?
Okay, once say if the speed you speed up the condensation, then this trace mineral, this trace mineral will be removed from the seawater. So only we can use a very traditional way, use the weather to do evaporation. then the bad minerals, today known as the heavy metal, will be gone, and the good minerals like the calcium, iron, sodium, potassium. So all these minerals that's good for our health will be stayed with the salt.
So it's actually like a good for you almost.
Yeah,
the salt.
Sure. So intake of salt is not just say taking a salty taste, but also we want to intake some good minerals.
Well, what is the salt used for? Is it just sold to shops?
Besides, we make souvenir here. Say this salt is also good for food purpose.
It's good for what? Sorry.
For food purpose. So we've been sent our salt to the laboratory for food safety tests.
Okay.
So and it's up to the food standard.
Okay.
So we can sell it as a food product.
Okay, excellent. That's great. Well, thank you very much, David. Thank you.
Okay.